we've got pretty much three buffs. We've got the ferocity buff, which is actually spawning on the left and the right side of the gate, which is down in the middle and the bottom. Um, it's a very good buff which gives extra few points per kill for the teams, so that buff actually stacks, which is very, very, very useful for them. You've got another buff called Tranquility, which is pretty much the buff which can make or break the game. If you get this buff, it flips all the points over to your side, and you actually just completely, you can knock the players out of the points as well. So you're going to be capping a lot, and you combine that with the other buff, which is stillness. That gives you double points for the actual caps that you're getting. So there's a lot of buffs on this map, and if you're not using those buffs effectively, even if you're winning the team fights and the actual points, you can lose this game.
Yeah, the Tranquility is going to spawn first at 8 minutes and 30 seconds. If the match goes any farther, I believe it spawns at 2 minutes and 30 seconds. Is the second one is going to actually spawn
it's
at.
around that time. Yeah, I think it it really gets down. It could get down to it though with these two teams, because the fight, the matches are very, very, very close. These are probably the two closest teams that I've actually been able to stream, which is, it's really, really, really good.
Mm-hmm. So keep in mind, guys, that FroG, which is the blue team, and BYOB, which is the red team, FroG has to win one more game, and they win this best-of-5 series, and BYOB has to win the next 2 games to win the best-of-5 series. So keep that in mind, guys. If they win this match, then it's going to be a do-or-die situation for both teams. They will be up 2-2. The next team that wins that is going to be the winner, but we'll see if FroG can pull another win out.
We've actually seen FroG pull out one of their players for the Mesmer. It was KL who's actually switched to a Mesmer now. So we've got 2 Mesmers on FroG. We've got 2 Necros on the red team. And it looks like Bullet has actually dropped out of his Warrior. So we're going to see him potentially bring in another class. This is why I like playing these exhibition matches, because I'm letting them change around their specs, change around their players and their classes, just so they can maybe switch it up and switch the tactics, and they can get that chance, especially with best of 5 as well. It gets us into a few more maps, which I like, which I really like as well.
I would definitely agree. I think that the composition of BYB right now is going to be a Guardian, a Necromancer, and pretty much the same thing that they were last game. And FroG, which is going to be the blue team, is going to be the Guardian, the Engineer, the Mesmer, a Thief, and another Mesmer. It'll be interesting to see what they can actually do and how the 2 Mesmer compositions are going to actually affect the way that the team actually plays. Now, in theory, it'll work pretty well, because the portals are able to span distances pretty far. So that's going to give them a pretty good kind of mobility advantage here. But one thing that both teams are going to have to keep in mind is those buffs, as Gibro did mention. That is very, very, very important as far as the way that this map is being played, because every time you grab a buff for your team, you get points for it. So that is something that both teams are going to have to really kind of keep in mind.
Yeah, like I said, like we were saying, the buffs are very important, especially that Tranquility. It's whether or not you dedicate your team to go and get that buff and switch all the points around to your team. But if the other team goes for the buff, you just got to make sure you're on all the points, not standing on the points, because you will get blasted off of them. So get ready to just recap those points as soon as you can. It can be a complete game changer, and we're going to see in about 5 seconds how this goes on the splits.
And this is going to be a best-of-5 series, guys. All FroG has to do is win this match, and they take all the credit and bragging rights. And keep in mind, guys, after this match, I will be giving away 2 codes for 800 gems. And let's look at the middle fight right now. Unfortunately, the split is going to be pretty much 4 versus 4 in the middle, and 1 and 1 on both of the close points here. Unfortunately, Art goes down almost instantaneously there, but being able to pop his heal and his Sanctuary almost instantly and doing a pretty good job at keeping all 4 players of the blue team completely off this point just by himself. Just a spectacular play here by Arc. Arc doing an excellent job at making sure that this point is very, very difficult to grab. Now, if we take a look at Yo Blob, one thing that we do have to kind of mention is that his portal is up. He's going to be able to use his heal, and he is actually forced to leave the fight here. Heal Forever going down, and it looks like Miss is doing a good amount of damage, and the stomp comes out here for Heal Forever, and Feel My Love actually going down here once again as well. Unfortunately, no, I'm sorry, my UI bugged out there, and we are going to see really try and get some damage here dealt to Feel My Love. Very, very low, unfortunately, going to be DPS down here. Miss going to be DPS down here once as well here, and kind of a troll thing that just happened there, dropping down that wall, and actually the illusion is going to be able to rally Miss, which is kind of odd.
That was very good play there. I mean, Blob had the luxury of getting out of the point there. Unfortunately, Heal had to stay on the point to kind of support the team. He did get back in extremely quick there, but Blob did very well by getting out the point there and actually coming back in rather than giving them another 5 points. He just reset himself, and that's pretty much what's won that fight. Just using your head and just securing the point and making sure you're still alive. Very good.
Taking a look at the temple area, we are seeing a pretty big fight here. Unfortunately, Bullet Tooth Joe does go down here. His teammate desperately trying to rally him up here. We are going to see Raka really trying to deal some nice AoE axe damage with that whirlwind ability there. Floppy doing a pretty good job at dealing a significant amount of AoE damage with that flamethrower there. He still has his mine kit to try and pop out there, and that is going to be a point cap for the blue team. This could be a 2-point cap here, first in the game. We are going to switch back here into the middle, and we are seeing Arc versus Yo Blob. Yo Blob doing a pretty good job at dealing a lot of shatter damage right now. Block coming out here for Arc here. Arc doing another good job at just kind of negating damage right now. But we are going to see some backup here from Miss, and we are going to see some backup here from Roka from the blue team and the red team. So both teams now have 2 players into this midpoint here. Getting knocked back there is going to be Yo Blob. Yo Blob doing a good damage at trying to deal some killing blow damage here onto the Miss. Miss does go down there by Heal Forever. Heal Forever is going to be able to try and keep this point for another day. 2-point cap here for FroG.
BYOB need to pick it up. They need to try and get something going here. They're all on their close point at the moment, which is the best way to do. If you're getting beaten in this way at the moment with a free cap, you need to regroup on your close point. Bullet Tooth Joe just taking the initiative there. Looks like he's leading the regroup on their point, and they're just securing the kills around this point, and they'll probably move out. They'll lose the points. They will continue to lose points, but that regroup is extremely important for their morale. Get those kills back, and we see that Stillness has popped up, so we're going to see a little bit of a fight going on here. They do not want FroG to get that Stillness. It will give them extra points throughout the fight. No one going for those ferocity kill buffs either on the side points. It does take you out of the fight. Isn't essential, but that Stillness is pretty essential for this fight, which they've actually taken.
Stillness has actually probably netted them about 20 extra points right now with all the kills they've been doing. So they're doing a very, very good job right now. Actually, I'm sorry. You know what? Stillness actually doubles the points for.
The buff,
I'm sorry about that.
You're good. It's all good.
I don't normally cast on this map because, unfortunately, Roka does go down here. This is going to be a stomp, and he is going to let that happen. Heal Forever, unfortunately, going down here as well, and that giant shark coming out and just completely toppling over Heal there. Art going to be able to try and keep this point here for the red team, and now is going to be a pretty much completely point shift here. We are seeing the blue team actually taking both the far points and the midpoint being taken by BYOB here. Taking a look at the close point for FroG, Feel My Love is going to be able to try and really make sure that this is being secured here. Unfortunately, Yo Blob is going to be coming up here from the ramp here, dealing a good amount of condition damage as well as shatter damage to Feel My Love, and he's going to be supported here by Heal Forever. Heal Forever doing a excellent job at also trying to just kind of negate Feel My Love. Feel My Love is going to run in retreat.
It looks like they're also shifting down to Tranquility rather early. I'm not sure if that was a mistake there by the guys in the bottom. Maybe they're just trying to go down to secure it Looked like he got knocked down anyway. Could be my bad there.
It's
Little bit
okay.
of lag on the front. But we see a bit of a mistake, in my opinion, by the Guardian on the side of BYOB there. He did move away from midpoint and lost. That was the only point they had.
Hmm.
Now, in these team fights, especially when you're losing, you need to keep that 1 point, because that is the only points you've got coming into the map. You might. He did. I feel that he did want to support his team because he is the Guardian, so he wants to get back there
Yeah.
and give them the support they need, but also needed to keep that point because now they are potentially about to be free capped unless they can secure their home point. But yeah, it's going to be a toughie for them to come back from this at the moment.
Yeah, right now Floppy in a lot of trouble here, actually going down here to Miss. Miss popping that 100 blades and doing a lot of burst damage here. It doesn't look like Floppy's going to really try and contest this down state. Unfortunately, Alice in mid here taking a ton of damage here, popping Life Force to try and get away. A lot of condition damage being dealt to her as well, and that is going to be another death here for BYB. And looks like FroG is going to trade for the 1-for-1 here. Taking a look at the Yo Blob doing a pretty good job at just kind of confusing the enemy a little bit there. Going to be taking Alice down to almost a standstill, and it looks like, I'm not sure if she's actually go down from this illusion. No, she's not. That was odd. She didn't pop her heal there. She could have actually tried heal from that, but generally you just want to go down, and that was... So on my screen, Feel My Love actually got frozen in midair from the immobilization.
Yeah, indeed, same. I mean, there's a lot of intense fights going on, a lot of different things going on the map. We do actually see that Tranquility has actually popped up, and FroG were about to get it, but the really good from Mark. He realized what was actually going to happen on the map. He came in, he was furiously trying to get that range off. Any kind of range to try and make sure that FroG didn't get the actual cap there on that buff. They're just fighting over the point at the moment. NG versus Guardian, this fight is going to go on for a long time, potentially to the end of the match.
Yeah.
So I'm not. They've just got to choose. But at the end of the day, if they get that buff, they've won the match. So I think BYOB just trying to keep in as much as they can at the moment. The Guardian, not the best person to be down there, unfortunately. He's a big part of their team.
Well, you know, I'm actually very curious as to why BYB doesn't have more members of their team right here. Because if they can cap all 3 points and hold them for a little bit, they should be able to catch up just slightly, but unfortunately that is going to be a stomp there onto Arc. Floppy is going to be... Nope, he gets knocked back by Wave of Light, but this is going to be a stomp, and it looks like Miss is trying to come up from the rear here. Floppy will not be able to grab this there, but unfortunately that is going to be very, very kind of heavy point disadvantage here right now for BYOB. But BYOB not really being in a good position to really do much of anything other than just try and grab the regular points as far as they are concerned.
Yeah, unfortunately, it looks like at the moment the match is pretty much over. A bit of a mistake there for Tranquility. It could have been a big switch over. If they'd just sent 2 people to deal with Floppy, they would have had that point and probably switched it around. Unfortunately, I think what they were doing was they're probably trying to discourage them from going for it, and actually weren't going to go for it themselves, trying to get those caps around the map, but it didn't actually pay off for them in the end. But we can see that FroG have won the series indeed, as very, very, very awesome matches that we've had tonight.